I literally cannot believe. I literally can't believe it anymore. Now, Tokyo is marching for Black Lives Matter. But again, it's all white people, predominantly white people. Can I please ask, because I've noticed there's, still getting some views, but nobody's really commenting why. I can't control what the overlords are doing to the new newspeak. The newspeak is what was authorized by the totalitarian government in 1984. George Orwell's 1984. They called it newspeak, and they were constantly rearranging the language to what was permissible, what was not permissible, what you could say, what you can't say. Just like China, who have their own internet, their own police, their own thought police. How many people are in their prison camps, their open air prison camps, starving and worked to death because they may have put a blurb on a blog somewhere that the communist government, the Chinese communist government, didn't approve. So as soon as they realize that somebody has spoken when they were not authorized to speak, or they have said something when the government did not authorize them to say what they said, within an hour or so, the communist police are at your house, they arrest you, and they take you to a prison camp. Please tell me how that's any different than what YouTube is doing right now, where you can't even control what people are allowed to talk about anymore. People make comments. I can see them on one thread that's on the back end, but they are not showing up on the front end on YouTube. I make comments on my own video, on my own channel, and there's some sort of blacklist that Google has implemented, and they change it all the time, and then you have to guess what word the thought police doesn't allow you to use anymore. Are you going to stop me from saying the word goyim? I mean, that's a shout out to Mustafa. I seen the comment, but for some reason, Google and YouTube will not allow the comment on the front end. So people are either commenting and they're saying the wrong things and it's being blocked, because I'm not deleting them. And I'm not even sure I have mods anymore because I did some spring cleaning several months ago. I think I have a couple mods, but I'm not sure. I would have to look. But I know it's not them. And I know it's not me. But what I'm asking you is, we have to have a discussion about this. I want to understand what's happening. I want that more than anything. I want an intelligent, logical, fact-based discussion of why this is happening, not your feelings. Don't come here and tell me how you feel. You feel that Black Lives Matter. That's an oxymoronic statement. Of course, Black Lives Matter. Nobody ever said they didn't matter other than people that are black and who have a political agenda or some twisted agenda. There are billionaires in this country that are black. There are millionaires in this country that are black. There were presidents and congressmen and mayors and governors and senators and judges. They're all teachers, professors, steel mill workers, auto plant workers, septic tank cleaners that are all black. So what political force started trying to convince and brainwash you with their billions and billions and billions and billions of fake fiat currency? When did they try to start convincing the world that black lives don't matter? Because one cop was implementing a tactical move that he was taught by another country's military. And I'm not going to get into that right now because I don't want this to go down. I really want to have this discussion. But this is what's all going to come out. And I'm afraid this cop, Derek, he's going to Epstein himself before this is able to go to trial. Because once it comes out that, once his attorney says, I'd like the people of the world to know that my client was only exercising a tactical move that was taught to him by the Israeli military, because the Minnesota police have gone to military training. The ADL, this is all going to come out. This is all coming out. But wait till the court date. Wait till the court date. Wait till the hearing starts. If he makes it that far, because like I said, something tells me that he's going to Epstein himself. You've heard it here first, maybe, before this goes to trial. Because once it comes to trial and people understand, oh my God, this guy was taught to use this procedure, this military tactic. Oh my God, the ADL is using their own private money to pay for hundreds of thousands of police officers in America to receive training by the Israeli military. This story has been everywhere for years. For years. Why is a foreign military training the police on our streets? Why? Why? And it's not taxpayer money. This completely is circumventing the people. And it baffles me. It's so illogical to think that this is actually proving or doing anything. Let me check in on the protest here in Tokyo.
Everything in terms of just the flow of traffic, people walking, being led by the police officers, is going very smoothly.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
It's a lot of English-speaking people in Tokyo there, isn't there?
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
And I mean, it's not even the very distinguishable Chinese dialect, accent. Who paid for them posters? Police escort in a communist country, or soon to be really communist country. No justice, no peace. In a country that doesn't even have really any black people in it. I want to understand why this is happening. Because again, nobody had ever said that black lives don't matter. Nobody's ever said that. Now you have protest in Atlanta for another cop doing whatever. And you have, which I have a video coming up maybe tonight or tomorrow because it's very late. It's early in the morning, actually, Sunday. But you have the BLM protest organizers in Atlanta literally saying, send the white people out onto the interstate to block traffic because they won't harass or arrest the white people. So essentially now what's happening is the BLM is using racism to stop racism and send in the whites. But in other places, don't send the whites. We don't want the whites. This is like Umar Johnson and Tariq Nasheed are screaming every day that this ain't the whites, even though white people died a much higher rate every year by police brutality and senseless killing. Those are facts. That's you can't, your feelings, I don't care, because those are facts. Those are documented numbers. I don't care what you say or feel, okay? I want somebody intelligent to explain to me why this is happening. I really want to know. Erase the feeling aspect of it, though. Is it true that the communist groups like Antifa and the BLM and all, they have, or not the BLM so much, but definitely Antifa and, basically BLM, because they've been infiltrated too. I mean, but they've hijacked this. They're turning it into a political, type of a statement. But why is it in Tokyo, in a country that does not have any black people in it? Their police don't even carry guns. The crime rate in Tokyo is laughable. But somehow there's an organized march with duplicate signage and people walking with a police escort to say they can't breathe and Black Lives Matter in a country where there are no black people. I need somebody to try to explain this to me. Why is this happening? And please don't come here and give me the 6 o'clock news explanation. The well thought out, Tavistock explanation. Don't give me that one. I also want you to answer this. Have we lost an entire generation of kids? Because if you look at this group, and I'm just going to let this play in the background while I talk. We don't necessarily need to read the comments, so I'll full screen that. There's probably a couple hundred people there, huh? White, 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 Japanese, white. Don't know. Oh, okay, move the camera. I mean, are these kids so lost that they have no idea what to care about? I almost feel like that, Generation X, which I think I am, Generation X was lied to. And the millennials and these younger kids now were abandoned. I almost feel that way. And this all started in the 50s and 60s. Our parents did it to us starting in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, where they were making money. The job markets were good. It just started then with the outsourcing of jobs. And somebody made Clinton, it was Clinton that started making deals with China and really getting a lot of our industry and these cheap-made, slave-made Chinese junk in every store. The capitalism really started to get out of control, where your only hope right now for opening a business is to get it purchased by Google or one of the big tech companies, or get it to Wall Street. But then again, you look at that's annoying me. You look at you look at what they've just done in the last few months. In like two months, they literally wiped out millions and millions and millions of jobs, and we have not even begun to see the fallout for the businesses that will never, ever, ever bounce back. I mean, the restaurant business alone is hard enough, but you cannot compete with Wall Street. I'm a restaurant owner. You cannot compete with Wall Street. If you're a mom and pop store, every plate of food that goes out of that kitchen has your cost, your tax, your operating cost, your material cost, food cost. It's all built into every plate of food. Whereas a company like McDonald's or Subway or Taco Bell, their money is on Wall Street. So as long as they can show any profit, even if it's 2 cents, 2 pennies profit on a hamburger, I have no idea what that noise is. I have no idea. I do have about 500 windows open, though, so that could have something to do with it. Or maybe it's just a subliminal noise I inject every once in a while to make people go, what was that? And they're really listening right now. Anyway, every hamburger that goes over a counter out of a window at, say, McDonald's, they can only have a profit of 2 to 3 cents. And as long as they're showing profit every quarter, their stock is going to continue to rise or at least maintain. That's where their money's at. It's on Wall Street. It's not on, they're not keeping the lights on because they made 3 cents profit on a hamburger today. So, and then you have companies like Grubhub completely devastating the markets. You cannot be self-employed or a mom and pop shop at this point. You really can't. There was a restaurateur that he said, I'm tired of being quiet about this. And if you look for the video, you'll find it. But he shows his monthly bill that he has to pay Grubhub. Look, it's all white people in Tokyo. He shows the receipt. He had say $1,700. I don't remember the exact number, but he had $1,700 in a month profit, or for Grubhub orders, I should say. After cost and Grubhub taking their cut, he was able to put $300 in his pocket. So, again, this is a Wall Street company, has nothing to do with food, never touches one piece of onion, but yet they're multi-billionaire companies because they're on Wall Street, because they're publicly traded. The capitalism is out of control. So I do relate to a lot of these people that think, oh, America sucks because it's capitalist. Yes, but you know what? Replacing it with communism, I assure you, is not the answer. You're too young and unexperienced to understand. But being that young also comes with delusional cockiness that you have not earned yet. You're coming from a nest of warmth and credit and money and internet and phones, $1,000 phones that not very few of you, 1 to 2% of you, had to actually work for the money to buy all of this tech and keep it running. Your parents, your grandparents, your family members have spoiled you retarded. And on the other spectrum of that is the vast majority of people who you say you care about and they matter and you're fighting for them. Of course, Black Lives Matter, but it is not a police problem. It is a money economic problem. Again, watch my last video of Capitol Hill, Seattle's warlord Razzmatazz takes over 6 city blocks. These are a bunch of millennials making $200,000 a year. There's no crime rate there, and over 80% of the population is white. 10% of it's Chinese or Asian, and you have 3 or whatever it was, 5% black people. But it's funny that the media, every shot, they're showing there's a black person. Hey, Jimmy, why don't you get this angle over here? I think I seen one black girl standing here, so let's get that. Again, the same. There's no black people really in Capitol Hill, Seattle. It's all white people. I have not seen a black person yet. Oh, wait. No, he's Hindu. Oh, what do you mean, Covert Radio? There's black people that live in China. There is not. There's not. I can read. You should be able to read Let me stop this. Let me show you something real quick. These are the ethnic groups in Japan. Right here. This is just 2018, the census. Right here, 2018. Can you guys see that? Yeah. 98%, 97.8, 98%, 98% of the population of Japan are Japanese people. 98%. With the remaining 3-4% are foreign nationals. Here's the list. Here, this shows you, here's a map right here. This shows you the foreigners in Japan. This was in 2000. But again, the other thing I'm going to show you, this Wikipedia entry was from 2018, their census. We all know how big Africa is. Look at all the countries. One? What is this, Nigeria? I think this Nigeria. The rest of the world. Look at all of America and South America and Australia and Russia and look, a lot of Europe, England, and look, Ireland, and look at all this. All Russians, China, Canada, Alaska. Oh, there's Africa. One little country, Nigeria, I think that is. I don't know what this is. Here, let's see. Yeah, so if it's this color pink, 1,000 to 4,999. So again, 98% of the people in Japan are Japanese. They're not, and the rest are foreign nationals. So I guess a few of them may be Nigerians. There are no black people that live. Maybe if you're in the military, that's a different thing, but you don't technically live there. I mean, numbers don't lie. Filipinos, Korea, Chinese, Brazil, Peruvians, Burmese, Indians, Iranians, Kurds, Mongolians, Nepalese, Pakistanis, Vietnamese, British, French, Irish, Russian, Turks. Oh, there's Nigerians. Jews. Jews aren't a nationality. It's a religion. Oh, really? Because Jews know they're a nationality. Whatever. Let's see here. Let's click on this. What's this? Where's Nigeria? United States. Do they even make the number list? Nationality, Chinese, 700,000. 400,000 plus South Koreans. 300,000 plus Vietnamese. 200,000 plus Philippines. 200,000 plus Brazilians, Nepalese, Taiwanese, United States, Americans, Indonesians, Thailandese, whatever. Nigeria didn't even make the actual demographic list. Okay? So that means there's a few Nigerians. That's it. But they're organizing protests for a guy in America who had a massive criminal history, who was destroyed on fentanyl, which causes you not to be hardly able to breathe anyway, who's done pornography, who held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach and robbed her, and him and his buddies ransacked her house, who resisted police for 20 minutes. He didn't want to get in the police car. He tussled and wrestled with them because he said that he's claustrophobic. But yet this huge guy was just sitting in a vehicle. But he can't get in another vehicle because he's claustrophobic. Yeah, that makes sense. Destroyed on fentanyl, had a bunch of dope on him. But yet he gets laid in state in a funeral like Princess Diana in a white carriage with white horses. Please, somebody explain this to me, because it's not that I'm insensitive, but they're like, what about Lavoy Finicum, who was murdered in front of his family by the FBI? What about that? You talk about these people overtaking a city in Beverly Hills, you might as well say, of Seattle, but yet there was white constitutionalists who went to a public park and took, that was basically closed in the wintertime, I believe it was, and they set up camp inside of a public park to dispute land ownership from the BLM. This was several years ago. I think it was 2016. I'm actually going to do a show about this. And within hours, they were surrounded by state police, FBI, CIA, ATF, helicopters. They had people on the inside. They have agents. But yet, nobody goes to Seattle. How about White Lives Matter? Because I don't give a fuck. I'm going to start really speaking truth. And I'm sick and tired of the facade, and I'm sick and tired of the bullshit. Nobody ever said black lives don't matter. But people do say white lives don't matter. And when it comes down to the almost identical scenario, when white people who are constitutionalists stood up for their rights of land management, who's being ransacked by the government, they keep taking more and more and more and more land over. The cattle ranchers and farmers have had their cattle range for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, but the BLM just wants to come in and say, no, this is our land now. This is the Hunger Games. That's what's coming. I said this a little while ago. Watch the Hunger Games. But when white people get together and protest this, and they go to a national park for a demonstration, they're murdered, surrounded, and killed, and then demonized and imprisoned. But yet black people and crazy virtue signaling white people who are a lost generation, they have nothing to believe in. They have no value system. They have no spiritual depth to them. There's no morality codes. Anything goes. You're a boy, you're a girl, you're not, you are, you're this, you're that. You're straight, you're gay, you're this, you're that. You have red hair, blue hair, pink hair, no hair. You listen to this or this or this, porn, free pornography on the 6 o'clock news. Hey, good news for everybody in America during the lockdown. Oh, hey, Chet, give me that story. Yes, during the lockdown, Pornhub will be giving away free subscriptions to their filth and their cuckery on their website. So you can have a free subscription and watch white women be brutalized. That's the reality of pornography. It's called androvicizing. But again, if you don't read and you don't know history and you don't know ancient Greek, you don't know what that means, and you don't know why it's used in war. White people have been under attack for many, many, many years, and everybody is doing everything to disguise the real attack and the real war. White American, white Christians, black people who love America are under attack, and we've been under attack. Because I know plenty of level-headed black people that can't wrap their head around what's going on. And we're all looking for answers. Is this a lost generation? Is that really what it is? I mean, these kids literally, they have nothing to believe in. Nothing. And to make matters worse, they're facing a downturn that is literally going to change everybody's life, let alone... There's kids that couldn't even graduate this year. They had to hang out of windows in cars and drive around with police escorts and, you know, couldn't even graduate. They're in debt from age 18, 19 years old if they're tricked into going to college. And the sickening part is no matter what they do, whether they go to college or not, they can't accumulate any wealth. And really, neither could Generation X. The last generation in this country that could accumulate wealth was people from my parents' generation who grew up in the 50s and 60s and started working in the 60s and 70s and 80s. They're the only real people, the last generation, that could go out, college or no college, get a job, get a fair wage, union protection, be able to afford a home, rely on credit if it's an emergency and if it's needed. No generation, whether there's wealth or not, or jobs or not in this country. This is an economic issue, and now they're hiding it again, creating fake racism. Because one white cop was doing what he was trained to do by an invading army. Oops, I'm sorry, the Israeli army. Who also basically paid for the police to be trained in Israel. Look into it. I'm going to do a show about it, so you might as well take my channel now. And I'm not the only one that knows this. And I know I'm probably not the only one that's talked about it. I just haven't seen anybody talk about it. Wait till the court case. And that's why I said I don't think he's going to court. He's going to be Epsteined. These kids can't accumulate any wealth. My generation cannot accumulate any wealth. We are debt slaves, and there are no jobs to walk into to try to live. If you are living in a home, you're probably paying rent, or you're living in a house that was willed to you, or something that you're shacked up with a couple other few people. I know there are other demographics. There are pockets of money in this country where people are doing okay, and they can't fathom what I'm talking about because they haven't had their entire industries ripped out from underneath them thanks to Obama and the EPA. Goodbye coal industry. Goodbye steel industry. Ship it to China. Ship it to China. You know what? I should turn my camera on right now because I'm going to show you something. But actually, I'm going to save this for when I go live. I'm going to blow your mind when I show you something that's stamped on a little knife. It's just, we're all screwed, man. And these kids have nothing. These millennials have nothing to believe in. Nothing. They don't even have a religion they can believe in because they've been taught and recruited into a satanic cult. We're in big trouble. We're in big trouble. Every God-fearing Christian, Catholic, whatever, you should drop to your knees right now and pray for divine intervention and truth and allow people to see visions of what's coming and please the strength to change it. Because I refuse to allow this powerful media to keep manipulating people's mind and intention and expectation and try to sane shame people. My term, I've coined this, sane shaming, completely making you feel like you're the one that has a problem because you won't go stand in the middle of a 7-lane highway and say that Black Lives Matter when you know in your heart that Black lives do matter, but you're trying to convince a soulless, overbearing, tyrannical power that controls this country what they already know. They are pulling the strings in every aspect of this. Everything is unraveling. Nobody owns anything. Everybody's in debt. We're all debt slaves. This is an economic problem. If George Floyd was at a job somewhere making $28, $30 an hour with union privileges, and working on his family. He wanted to get straight. He has kids. He was going to buy. Hey, idle hands. You know what I mean? There's scripture about idle hands. And we are a nation filled with idle hands right now. And I don't understand it. I don't understand what's going on.
What's up?
Oh, what up, Renzo?
I'm good,
Nice
I'm good.
to see you.
Yeah, see the hair. I'm like, I saw him like, is that Miles? Yeah, what's up?
These are all kids. These are all kids, man. They're all kids. They have no idea. Every piece of clothing, 99% of every piece of cloth you see there was purchased by somebody else. Tearing away at their money, tearing away at their wealth. So that even if they've borrowed off of the people in their life that had, it's trickling down. They want it all. They're not going to be happy till they have it all. Ride up and down any street in America and count the homes that are unoccupied and for sale by some crazy bank, brand new all the time, realtors, banks. I mean, God only knows. This has been happening really since 2008. Count them. Count the empty houses and then tell me how many millions of people are living on the street right now. There's no more middle class. There's poverty and extreme poverty. That's all there is. And we're all debt slaves. And they stopped it all. They took it all and they put us all on house arrest so we could come out with our hat in hand and say, Massa, I go back to work, please. Please, Massa, I go back to work. Please let me go back to work and make enough money that I can't really live. And I have to decide which credit card I'm going to use this month. And your commercials on your television and your black mirrors are just showing trendy white people and young black people deciding which credit card they're going to use around a dinner table. Where just 1-2 generations ago, my dad, he wouldn't even put winter tires on credit. Maybe if something, maybe if he wanted 2 sets of winter tires because he wasn't sure, he had the knobbies on one and then the real deep tread on another, and then he had the summer tires. People can't even fathom that these days. They can't even afford to buy a decent spare tire, let alone have snow tires, snow knobby tires, and then your spring and summer tires. There's people that can't even fathom that. And the jobs and the money used to be so good that you didn't even need credit for that, but if you had it, if you needed it. Nobody teaches you about credit. It's the same people that owns the books. It's the same people that controls the curriculum. When is enough enough? When do you have enough? What more do you want? You have our houses. You have what more do you want? You have all of our data. You have all of our information. You have just about everybody's genome. You have our blood. You have all of our medical information. Our kids are sitting in front of your black mirrors at age 2 with their mouths gaping open and drool coming out of their mouth. And then 5 or 6, they get to carry the black mirror in 2 inches from their face. What more do you want? But see, these people, there is no end to this. There is no end to this. People can't fathom what's coming. The medical tyranny is next. The medical tyranny is next. Watch the Hunger Games. I'm Covert Radio. I'm tired. I mean, I'm tired of it all, really. If you can explain any of this to me, please do. I have new content coming up. May squeeze in a Sunday show, actually, later on today. If you want to be a Patreon, subscribe. It's in the description. You guys take care. Have a good day.